Hello everyone, it's Robin the Delta Crafter and I want to thank you for joining me for another video on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of my Let's Learn Alcohol Inks Together video series. Today we're going to be doing a video where we're going to be experimenting with using gravity as a part of our technique for using alcohol inks. So let's go ahead and jump into the supplies that we'll be using today. So of course, to start off, we'll need some alcohol inks. So I have my assortment of alcohol inks here. These are the alcohol inks from Ranger and Tim Holtz. I have a decent assortment of colors. These are not all the colors by far, but I have a decent assortment of colors. I also have 2 alloys, which are going to add, they're metallic, so they're going to add some metallic colors to your creations. So I have that in Gilded and Sterling. And I store all of my alcohol inks in the Tim Holtz alcohol ink container or case. This holds, I think, 30 inks, and so far so good. I love it because it keeps everything tight and in place. Haven't had any spills or anything with it, as well as because of this little plastic liner in here. Again, everything is tight, but I also like the fact that the side is low so I can see the colors very easily, so I can know what I have and what I'm going to be reaching for. To create alcohol ink creations, you're going to need some sort of material or substrate that is non-porous. And oftentimes when we're talking about a non-porous paper, we're either talking about Yupo paper, which is, Yupo is the brand, but Ranger and Tim Holtz sell some packages of Yupo paper. I do have some of that. But I also recently learned about craft plastic. And I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. And by the way, I'll make sure to link video 1 and 2 in the description box below if you haven't caught those. But that's what I have right here is craft plastic. It's a little bit more economical. It comes in large 12 by 12 sheets. So what I've done is I've cut those couple of 12 by 12 sheets down into 4 by 6 panels that I have here in my hand. So you're also going to need something to move your alcohol inks around with. And so for today's video, I'm going to be using this hand blower by Tim Holtz and Ranger as well. There is another device that I learned about from my friend Joy. She has a YouTube channel called Created with Joy. It is like a low heat like hair dryer. I'm going to be purchasing that, and so you'll see that show up in one of my future videos in this series. But for today, we have this blower that I've used previously. I like it. The only thing I can say is if you are doing a lot of alcohol ink creating at one time, like your hand will get tired from all of the blowing and materials you have to, energy you have to use to make this work. And then once you put your alcohol inks down, you're going to need some sort of solution to help move your alcohol inks around on your material or your substrate. So I have 2 options here. These are the same 2 options that I've used previously. There is the 91% isopropyl alcohol, and it is highly recommended that you use 91% alcohol. It just helps the inks move a lot better. And then there is the alcohol blending solution that is also sold by Tim Holtz and Ranger. I'll be using both of these today in the technique that we're going to be trying today, so we can see which one gives us what kind of results. If you have watched my previous video, you know that I had my isopropyl alcohol in a different container. It was actually in this container. The nozzle on this container was kind of big, and so there was a lot of alcohol that would come out at one time. And I mentioned, I saw a lot of people in their videos using these, this needle nose tip container for their isopropyl alcohol. And because we're going to be using Gravity today, I felt like it might be best to go ahead and use a smaller nozzle when we're using Gravity, because, you know, we just want to kind of control it a little bit more. And then the smaller nozzle and putting out smaller amount of alcohol will help with that. So I did go ahead and purchase some of these. I found these on Amazon, and I'll link those below and on my blog post as well. So as always, you're going to need some paper towels. So I got a stack of paper towels over here to the side, and I think that's it. We're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so what do I mean by we're going to use Gravity to help us with our alcohol ink creations? What I mean is we're going to put down some drops of ink. We're going to put down some whatever solution we use, whether it's the isopropyl alcohol or the alcohol blended solution. And then we're going to tilt our paper and kind of make the alcohol and the solutions move in the direction that we want them to go in. It might be, you know, straight down. It might be moving all around. We'll just see. We'll let the alcohols tell us kind of what we want, where we want to go as they start to mix and move on the paper. So let's go ahead and choose some colors. I think for this first one, I'm just going to use one color, one ink, because as often the case in inks, wow, these are stuck in here. There are quite a few colors that go into making the final color that we actually see. So I'm interested in kind of seeing what colors come out as we start to mix and move these papers around, and use the Gravity to help us be able to pull some different colors out of the alcohol ink. So I think the first color that I'm going to use is Limeade. I haven't used this color before, so it's perfect one to start with. So I'm going to get myself set up. I'm going to take all my lids off all the things that I'm going to be using today, just to make it so much easier to, when I'm ready to use it and grab it, then it's ready to go. So I'm going to use Limeade, and I'm going to start off with the isopropyl alcohol. So I'm going to put down a little bit of a line of Limeade. Say that 3 times. And then I'm going to apply, let me hold this, some isopropyl alcohol, and let's just tilt this down and see what happens. So we're going down, but I'm also kind of tilting side to side, but I do want it to kind of go down. Okay, let's add a little bit more alcohol ink on top and see what happens then. Oop. So we're getting a very, very light. I can see some of the yellow actually coming out in this as well. Yes, I like this. And you can see where I'm adding the alcohol, it's creating little pockets with no color. So I'm gonna add a little drop of ink into that alcohol, and look how that changes. So I like the way that this looks. So let me just continue to let that move to the bottom. Go straight down. Look up here. There's a little bit of blue that got pulled out. That's what I'm talking about. When you use one color and you use one, just a little bit of blended solution or alcohol ink, like you just never know what you're going to end up with. All right, I'm going to pull some of this dark green back down to this side, or the full concentrate, should I say, of the color. And I'm going to lay that down, and I'm just going to hit it with my tool a little bit, because this also helps to dry. So it'll move the ink like it's doing down here where the ink is a little bit more concentrated, but it'll also help to dry the entire project. All right. Oh, got some splatter there. So just that quickly, all of this part is dry up here at the top, pretty dry. This down here where the ink was a little bit more concentrated, that it's not quite as dry. But we can leave that like that. So let's go ahead and experiment and see what will happen if we add another layer of limeade at the top. Another layer of ink, another line of ink, and then we're kind of going on top of what we have there. And I'm going to add a little bit of ink. I'm sorry, a little bit of alcohol. And add some more. Add some more color. Keep adding alcohol as it's moving down. So that gave a lot more texture. A lot more texture. We lost that blue that was up there that we pulled out. That's okay though. We're learning. We're experimenting and we're learning. Keep moving it around and letting gravity do its thing. Oh, look, the blue has returned. The blues have returned. Oh, I love this. So while this is still a little bit wet, let's go ahead and add, let's add some gold. I shook these alloy inks up earlier before I started the video. And remember, there's a ball in the bottom of your alloy inks. You can hear it a little bit. That helps create frictions for the mixatives that are in the alloy inks, so that when you shake them, you get a lot of, you get a good mix. So I'm actually going to just drop some alloy onto the paper, and then I'm going to put a little bit of alcohol ink into those drops and get that to move around a little bit more. And let's see what happens. I don't want to just start at the top. Some of this to break up and some of that to break up. Some of those places where the ink, that's gilded again. Get some of that solid portion of the gilded to break up. Oh yeah, I'm liking this. Each time you add some ink to your creation, it's going to make the color beneath it move around a little bit. So we're getting a little bit of movement of that green. And it's Yeah, this is turning out really pretty. All right, I kind of like where that is. So I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone. You just got to know when to stop, because you could go on and on. But you just kind of got to know when you're at your stopping point. Yeah, I'm not going to add any alcohol to that. All right, I'm happy with that. So I'm actually going to just set this aside and let this dry, because there is a lot of wetness on this paper. So I'm going to, instead of blowing it, because I don't want anything to move, I'm just going to let it, let the alcohol evaporate and let it dry on its own, which is not going to take that long. So I think we're done with this one already that quickly. Let's move on and try another technique. Okay, for our next project, we're going to try 2 colors. So the 2 colors that we're going to use are Cobalt and Fiesta. I'm going to put Fiesta down first, and I'm going to put it down a little bit heavier than I do the Cobalt, because the Cobalt is a much stronger color, and I have a feeling that if I put the same amount down, the Cobalt is going to definitely overtake and overpower the Fiesta. So I'm going to kind of help that in the beginning by putting down more of the Fiesta than I do the Cobalt. And this time I'm going to use the alcohol blending solution. So go ahead and get prepped by taking off all the lids, and we're going to get started. So I put down a line of the Cobalt, a whole line of the Cobalt. Let's put some of that down. Good amount of the Cobalt. And now I'm going to bring my alcohol blending solution in. And you can see it's already just kind of going on its own. Look at all of those colors. Man, that's pretty. There's some hot pink, some fuchsia, some deep red. It's all over the place. All right, so let's help this out by tilting the paper a little bit more, and we're going to add just a bit more of the blending solution. So you can see some kind of excuse me guys, allergies, spring season, can't avoid them. There's already automatically some channels where the color is just kind of following. So I kind of want to break that up a little bit. So I'm going to tilt to the side and then tilt back and forth, just so break those channels up just the slightest bit. Let's see if I can get some of this to move around a little bit more. Notice that the alcohol and the blending solution come out rather quickly, so just be mindful of that as you're pouring and laying down, about how quickly the solutions come out. All right, so I'm going to put a paper towel down here, and I'm going to let this run all the way to the edge and off of the paper. And let the paper towel kind of collect the excess. All right. Let the paper towel do its job. Shake it and kind of put it there, let it sop up some of that. All right, so I'm happy with that. Let's move this out of the way. There is a lot of color and a lot of alcohol blending solution on here, so I'm just going to kind of provide a little bit of air kind of high up, because I really don't want the ink to move, but I'm just going to provide a little bit more air to help everything dry. and it is drying. You can leave this alone and let it dry because there is alcohol in here, so alcohol evaporates rather quickly. So you can do that, but I'm just helping speed the process along just a little bit. Especially where there seems to be a high concentration of the alcohol blending solution. You can tell because it's a little bit more shiny than the other areas. Here we go, just about done. And I think that will be, well, that will suffice. So let's take a look at this Fiesta and all the colors that we were able to pull out of the Fiesta. We got various different shades of pink, all the way from like a very pale ballet pink, very light ballet pink, all the way down to some intense, like true Fiesta color and in between. I love that. Okay, so now we're going to add a few drops of the cobalt, because again, we don't want the cobalt to completely overpower what we've created here, and it most certainly will. So let's just start with 3 drops of cobalt. I'm gonna put a couple of drops of blending solution in each one of them, and let's go. So this one already needs a little bit more. We got a new color. The more of that light pink is coming out, which that's because the cobalt ink and the blended solution are reactivating. Let's bring this paper towel back in. Reactivating that Fiesta ink. Let's see if I can go this way and go like that and get, yeah. So instead of coming in from the side, I came in from the front, and I was able to get the blending solution exactly where I wanted it to be, which is a new thing I've learned. I just learned to be able to get the ink to be where I want it to be. All right, let's do some of this. See how it's just staying right in those channels that were initially created. So I'm trying to break some of that up and get some of this to move around a little bit more. So when the pink and the blue are coming together and creating a beautiful purple color. But I want that to move around a little bit more for us. All right. Let's see what happens if we do this. All right, so while this is still wet, I'm also going to add a couple of drops of alloy into those wet purple veins. Let's see. Oh, I just said, drop from the front, drop from the front. All right, let's get our gravity to move it. Both the blending solution and alcohol ink come out, I'm sorry, the alcohol come out so quickly. You just got to really be cognizant of that. That is one thing about working with alcohol inks. You know, we went into this lesson trying to say we're going to try to control it, but ultimately you really cannot. There is no control, which is kind of one of the things about using alcohol inks that can be freeing. It is, you really have to let go and let the alcohol inks do what the alcohol inks are going to do, which in crafting and in creating, it's kind of freedom, in the sense of there's less thinking that you have to do. There's less, planning, or if you will, that you have to do. Just let the alcohol inks go and move and be and do wherever they're going to go and be and move and do. Let the alcohol inks be in control and you just sit back. All right, so I'm getting a paper towel over here. Got ink all over my hands, as you can imagine. So get help with that. I'm just going to put some alcohol on my fingers, isopropyl alcohol on my fingers. That's going to help get the ink off. So I want some of this, that sterling to go back over into this corner. So I'm going to blow it over there and get it to kind of, it's not going to go exactly the way I would like for it to go, but it's going to go. Oh yeah. I'm going to use this gravity again in my favor. As everything's drying up, as well as moving around. All right. I like that. So you can tell that everything's drying because nothing is really moving. So let's take a look at this creation. Got that sterling in there. Got the cobalt, definitely the Fiesta, and then that new purpley color that we created. I like that. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside and let this dry, and we're gonna make a third and final panel. Okay, for this third and final panel, we're gonna try something a little bit different. For the previous two panels, we started at the top and kind of moved down. This time, we're going to start with dropping some color and some solution in the middle and kind of doing a rocking motion and seeing what happens with that. We're also going to alternate between our color and our alloy to kind of see where we go, what's created, and what we get. So this time, we're going to be using Mermaid and Gilded. So let's go ahead and get started. Get myself set up so I can easily grab my colors or my alcohol inks. And we're gonna start. All right, so let's get the Mermaid. And this time I think I'm gonna use the isopropyl alcohol again. So we're gonna drop a couple of drops of Mermaid right here in the middle. And then I'm going to come in and we're going to drop some alcohol right there in the middle as well. And you can see it's already spreading out and doing its thing, but we're going to kind of help it out by going in a rocking motion. I'm going counterclockwise, but we could go clockwise as well. I'm not sure well, I don't know, because you just never know what's going to make a difference. All right, so before that dries, I'm gonna go ahead and drop a couple of drops of Gilded in the middle and a couple of drops of alcohol into that Gilded. And let's see what happens. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna rock it. Rock rock it around. And go counterclockwise now. All right. So I like what's happening there. All right, let's come back in with a couple more drops of the mermaid. And a couple of drops of alcohol in that. Oh man, I kind of like what that just did. Did y'all see that? Okay, I kind of got an idea of what's gonna be happening here. It's starting to give a little bit of geode, maybe. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of alcohol out to the edges because I want this to spread out some more. I am barely squeezing this bottle, if at all, any. So let's start. Let's rock some more. All right. Okay, this might be, this is turning out really pretty. Okay, let's add some more mermaid to the middle. And some solution, alcohol. And let's keep going. Keep rocking. All right, I'm gonna put one drop of gilded in the middle. And solution. Yeah, this is starting to look like a geode, which I am here for, and it's gonna be so pretty. All right, I'm going to do this around the edge and try to get that ink moving out to the edge. Since we're gonna make, I'm gonna be making cards with these panels. Oh, look at that. Look how it's really just wicking. And we're getting some pink on here too, guys. Who saw that coming? Not me. I love this wicking effect. But because I'm going to be making cards with these, like I kind of want more of the panel to be covered. But I could just, this is totally changed. But I could just trim it down to just the part that is covered with the ink. All right. Gotten the color to go out to the farther corners. I wonder where that pink came from. That is just, that's what I mean by you just don't know what you're going to get. I'm gonna put a paper towel up under here. So I'm gonna come back in and I'm just gonna keep layering in the middle with the color. And keep, you know, going from there. And adding and layering and adding and layering. I really do like where this is going though. Let's add a few more drops. We'll put a drop or two of alcohol in that. Let's getting out to this top part. Reaching out there. So I'm gonna put a little drop in here in that little area. I like it. I do. So this might be my favorite technique that we've tried today. This one and the first one, which coincidentally, both of them use the isopropyl alcohol. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there because I love this creation here. So I'm gonna stop there. There is quite a bit of liquid on here, so I'm just going, I don't want anything to move. I just want to aid in the drying. And I may even, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop because I really don't want anything to move. I love the way that all came together. That is gorgeous. It looks, it's giving me like Grecian vibes, like, you know, in Greek culture, they wore a lot of teal and turquoise and gold. And that's what I'm getting and feeling here. I love this, love it. All right, we're gonna let that dry and then we'll come back in just a moment and take a look at all 3 completed panels. So here they are, the 3 panels that we created with the aid of using gravity to our advantage. This is the first one that we made with just 1 color. This is the second one that we made using 2 colors. I'm sorry, 1 color and an alloy, 2 colors and an alloy. But we started both of these with a line of color at the top and then using gravity to flow down. This third and final panel was made with using 1 color and an alloy, but we started in the middle and kind of moved our color out from the middle using gravity. So what I'd like to hear from you guys is which one of these panels is your favorite? Go ahead and drop that in the comments below, and I'm anxious to hear which one you like the best. You can always find me at thedeltacrafter.com, which is my website and my blog. I'll have lots of details on this this video posted there. I'll have links to products and more pictures and everything. And you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Delta Crafter. I hope you have enjoyed this 3rd part of our series on learning alcohol inks together. And until we meet again, guys, have a great day. Enjoy. Bye.